All right, we is live once again. We go live here on Amazon. Starting a little bit later than usual. I usually start at 2, but I was waiting for this thing to update itself. So we're starting at 4. So we'll do this for an hour. The good news is I did all of the work that you need to do to get this thing somewhat capable of running somewhat current software. So we'll see how it does. Excuse me, I got a cough. Okay, so we're going to try to get something to run on this. Now this is the new Samsung Laptop Go, or Samsung Galaxy Book Go. And this is running with an ARM processor, but not a very fast one. So I have not been impressed with its performance yet. You'll see the full review tomorrow. I'll probably get that done tomorrow. Dogman is here. William Wilkinson is here. Romeric is here. Joe is here. Our usual crowd is coming in. Dava is here. Sim Architect is here. And it does look a lot like a Chromebook. It feels like a lot like a Chromebook. And it performs a lot like a Chromebook. And hello there, D. Johnson. So let's, first thing we're going to do is get Steam installed on it. So I'm going to install my Steam drive here, put that in the USB slot. And I actually have the display outputting here too. So the display output works. Oddly, and I got to leave a note about this, what I discovered in the course of getting everything hooked up today is that you can charge it from either port, but the display output only works on the right-hand port with the USB-C. So I'm going to make a note of that. But you can charge it on both sides. All right. So I'm going to put that in my notes. All right. Yeah, this is the Bita Balba is saying another ARM. Yeah, this is another ARM. And this one is a low-cost one. So this comes in at about $350. It's $349.99 on Amazon right now. So it's not that expensive. The problem is it performs like you would expect a low-end computer to perform. So this is not, you're going to get the battery life out of this, but you're not going to get the performance that you might think you would get with an ARM processor. And that's true of the higher end one too, to a degree. So what I've done so far with this, yesterday we took it apart, and if you go on the extras channel you can see what we did, but I'll show you the video of it while I'm installing Steam. So let me find my footage from yesterday, because we did a little thing on the extras channel. So let's go to the unboxing here. I think it's in this one here. Let's see. Okay, this was just when I was taking the screws out. So I took the rubber feet on the bottom are actually slotted. So that was cool. So you don't have to like re-glue them back on. So it's really easy to get into it. The problem is that once you do get into it, and I'll put the, I'll give you the other view here. Once you do get into it, there's nothing to do. You can't upgrade anything. So it's like hermetically sealed, like a hermetically sealed computer. It's like, you know, you can get at the motherboard. Here, let me show you the other view here. So when you get inside, you got a huge battery, and the motherboard is on that metal plate there. But everything is soldered on, so you can't upgrade the RAM, you can't upgrade the storage. This is a it's got 4 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage, so it's not a lot. Richard Barnett is here. Hello. So we're going to install Steam on here and just see if we can get something to work on it. Remember, we tried that with that HP. We didn't have much luck, so we'll see if Microsoft has done more to enhance things since then. So we'll take a look at that. And I did see, yeah, it looks like Windows 11 is leaking out. I saw Thurrott's page, Paul Thurrott's page had some info on it. So I'm hoping it's just kind of like, you know, the next iteration of Windows, right? It's not anything crazy. Mark Dell says, did I miss Rocket League? No, you have not. In fact, we are first installing everything. And if it's anything like last time, we won't see Rocket League. Because this thing is super slow, does not have a lot of RAM. So this is not like this is not your savior. Like, we do not yet have the Windows equivalent of the MacBook M1 or the Apple M1 at all. And this is far from it. And it kind of flexes a bit. I don't know if you saw my unboxing, but look at that. So like it just doesn't feel, it feels like it should be $250, not $350. If that makes sense. It feels like it's $100 too much. So William's asking a question about USB 4. And USB 4 incorporates some of what is in Thunderbolt from a performance standpoint. So you can get USB 4. I just got to log into Steam here real quick. You can get USB 4 devices that essentially work like Thunderbolt 3 devices from a speed standpoint, and you can get up to 40 gigabits per second, provided it supports that. And a lot of USB 4 is only supporting the 20 gigabit standard. So everything is just all out of whack as usual with this USB stuff. All right, so let me go and just grab the code from this, or for this. Yeah, so we're going to still be a little laptop heavy here on the channel. Although the other day, I did get in some of those new Mocha adapters with 2 gigabits. So my plan is that once I get this thing done, we'll move on to the Mocha adapters and start playing around with those. All right, so now we're going to get Steam going here. And I'm going to point this at my Steam directory. So I have this little hard drive here that has a bunch of Steam games on it. So we'll try to run something. I don't think we're going to be able to run much because we don't have a lot of RAM. And this augments the onboard storage. And Mark Dell, you make a good point. I think you're absolutely right about that. And you can find laptops that even cost less than this, right? I think the good thing with this is that you get a lot of battery life with this. So performance is not why you buy this one. You buy it for battery life, and I think you're sticking mostly to like the Microsoft suite of whatever. So I would say it's going to be kind of like the equivalent of some of the ARM-based Chromebooks is I think where this is going to end up. So let's get our Steam folder put in place. And it looks like Rocket League has an update coming down. So let's get that update finished. And then we'll go ahead and play this and see how it does. It's only 68 megabytes, so that shouldn't take too long. Well, I got a lot of chats that came in. Adam Louse is here. Redacted is here. And Stacy makes a good point also. Do we want a soldered down laptop? And that's a good question. Corey says, what's the battery life? They're rating this one at about 18 hours. And I haven't yet done enough with it to verify that, but I think it's probably going to be close. But you can't run a lot of expensive or higher end software on it. So you're kind of helped there. But it's also it consumes a lot less power. But this is performing like in the range of some of the Apollo Lake chips from way back when. So it's about $100 more, I think, than it's worth from a performance standpoint, but the battery life is there. And I think that's where we're going to probably end up on this one. And Corey is right on with the Mocha. Mocha is awesome. So that is definitely good stuff. Adam says, did I change my lighting up? No, I have not. It just looks better today for some reason. I think it's just the stuff behind the computer, maybe? I don't know. Not yet. We're going to get the lighting done at some point. Mark Smith is here. And Sim Architect brings up the netbooks. Yes, I had a Dell netbook that I put Mac OS X on. That was awesome. Redacted says, can you play Wreckfest on it? Probably not, but we could stream it. Mark Smith says, will it run x86 software? Yes, it will, and that's what we're about to try. But we don't have a lot of RAM to play with here, so I think that's going to be a big impediment. So we'll see what happens. But I thought we would try Rocket League, because this is one game that's supposed to work. So we'll see. And Mark wants to see how bad the, you know, it's funny, those might be the best parts of this, because it's like all tablet and phone guts, and they're pretty good at that on that side. Spike Blighty is here, hello. And Corey's got the Action Tech adapter. Those are rock solid. Those things will always work. They're expensive, but they work really well. William Wilkinson wants to know, how big is that external SSD? This one is 240 gigabytes, and it's linked on my Amazon page right now. These are on sale for 40 bucks for 240 gigs. I think that's what this one is. Oh, this is 480. So this is 480, but the 240 is 40 bucks. And it's a good little SSD. I reviewed it years ago. So check it out. Yeah, we're going to go full RGB lighting and smoke machines. I'm going to have Smoke Monster come and set me up with his smoke machine. That'd be awesome. Yes. Yeah, we're not going to be running Red Dead Redemption on this one, unfortunately. Dafa wants to know, how many cameras do I use in videos? Normally 3. So we've got this one, and this one. That's the main 3, and then I've got others that I bring in at different times. I do a lot of NDI video, so I can bring in a lot of different stuff. So for example, right now, I have the output of the computer here coming in over an NDI box. So that's coming in over the network, and then these are coming in over HDMI to my card. And Stacy says, why are they being sold? Stacy's very upset about this 4 gig of RAM and 128 of storage. And I think what it is they were trying to, you know what I found when they release these things is they want to have the ability to say starting at, right? So they say starting at 349, and then you get this with really low specs, and then you go up to like whatever, 599, and then you get the one with the memory, right? That's what they try to do, because Google did that with all of their Pixel products too. Same thing. All right. Yes, the Discord. So, Brian Parker set that up for me, and I just haven't had a chance to get into it yet. So, it is. I don't get anxiety, but I get like a lot of I got to keep checking all these different things, and it's just like another thing I got to check. So we'll have to get it going and get some moderators in there. If you want to moderate that too, Mark Dell, I'm happy to assign you the task. Mark Smith is wondering, is the SSD USB-C only? No, actually, this is a USB, I think it's one of the B cords, those larger ones. And so you could use a USB. So I've got 2 different cables on my desk here. So I've got this one. I think that's B, right? So it goes B to C. And then I've got this one, which is B to A. Luis is wondering, how do we do with the emulation of... That's exactly what we're about to find out. And I think I asked Rocket League to launch, and it crashed. So there's your answer. Let's see. This is the Steam version. I don't know if the one on Epic is better, but it doesn't seem to get... Oh, wait. Oh, here it goes. Let's see. It's doing exactly what that HP one did. All right, Mark Dell. Why don't you email me? I'll send you the link. We'll get it going. We'll see how it goes. Jay is here from Brazil. And I don't know, does the Apple Watch have 4 gigs of RAM? That would be crazy if it did, wouldn't it? And Joseph is asking, another ARM computer, is it as bad as the one we looked at the other week? It looks like we're pretty much, yeah. It looks every bit as bad. In fact, this one's worse because it has less RAM. And when I benchmarked it earlier, so I did a, that browser bench test, and it came in around where the Apollo Lake cheapo computers came in from a couple of years ago. So I do not have high hopes here. Let's try it one more time. And this is probably pushing it on from the RAM standpoint. So Dava says, what is my best laptop so far? I would say the two that I'm using are the best ones that I've been using. So my MacBook Air with the M1, I'm getting far more use out of it than I ever thought I would. So the MacBook is awesome. And then my Lenovo gaming laptop, I get a ton of use out of that. It's like my little production machine. So that thing's been great. So both of those are really good. Excuse me. Mark says, I wonder how these laptops will fit. I think it's a matter of software. I think Microsoft's got to get the 64-bit thing working. You know, the problem is that I don't think there's, like the software side, especially on the emulation, it just isn't there yet on the 64-bit stuff. So that's really hurting it. Spike Blighty says, the build quality looks okay. Now check this out, though, and tell me what you think. So you watch the keyboard. So it's not great. It looks better. That's what I mean. It photographs well, but it flexes. Like it's really cheap feeling. Partly because there's nothing inside of it. There's a battery and a tiny motherboard, and that's it. So it actually, you know, if it wasn't for the size of the screen, you wouldn't even need a package this big. I think that's kind of where it's at. Oh, Dava, yes, I forgot to mention the Surface. So yeah, the Surface Laptop Go is like my little portable Windows computer. So the three that I featured in that video a few weeks ago, like those are the three: the MacBook, the gaming laptop, and the Surface Book Go. Mark Dell says the Flex is not safe for work. Yeah, I would probably agree on that. And see, this is the price point, R2K Sports, that I think would be appropriate for this computer. $199 would be great. Unfortunately, it's $349. And that, you know, like if it performed as well as the HP did, I could make the argument, but it runs with a different chip. So yeah, we're not running Rocket League on this thing. So it's just not, you know, it just is sluggish. Now, granted, we are running, and I did some tests on it before I switched it over. So right now it's running in the Windows Insider build mode. So it's running with a more, you know, a kind of a dev channel thing. But the dev channel is what you need to run a lot of these Steam games. All right, so let's see what else we can try to coax onto this thing. Because what I have installed, none of this stuff will run, although I could probably get Shovel Knight to run. So let's try that one next. And then I'll dig into my back catalog here and see what else we can get. Thank you for the super chat, Chanflay98. Put you up on the screen here. Much appreciated. I may as well capture some B-roll while we do this, huh? So let me go set up some B-roll. You know, so I think if we do game streaming, we should be okay here. But the rest of it is just not going to be great. So let me go into settings here. Now this is an Intel game, okay? So we are running this on the emulator. I got to set that one more time here. Settings, high contrast color. There we go. Okay. Nope. Yeah, and this screen is rendering all funky. All right, so that's about the best I'm going to get here. So it says it's running at 60. And we have audio. Okay, so the sound is not working. But it is running at 60 frames per second, so that's something. Unless maybe it's routing the sound. Oh, you know what it is? It's routing the sound through my speaker here. Hang on a second. Here, I'll put the sound up, but I don't want to kill all of your ears. So let me just turn the audio down on this. Because right now it's like blasting. All right, there we go. Okay. This is running at a solid 60, but that we've seen this before too. And actually, this would run at a solid 60 on even on like some really low-end hardware too. Although it's running in emulation, so that's that's something. Ooh, I'm playing with the keyboard, which is not ideal. There you go. Let me just try this again here. Let's try one more thing. I just want to get a better B-roll shot here. There's like one level that I like to visit in this game that is pretty good. Here's this one. Oops. So it's able to keep up, I mean, it's not bad. Oops. Let me get my controller hooked up here. Where did it go? We'll do the B-roll, then we'll get the controller going. Now this is a retro-inspired game. So this is Shovel Knight, which came out a number of years ago now. I think this game is probably, I don't know, about 7 or 8 years old maybe. But running it in Steam, it's running in emulation, and it's running at full speed at 1080p. So that's something. All right, so we got our B-roll. But this is something we've been able to run on ARM for a while now. Let's see. Let's see what else we can find that might run. So BioShock might be one to try, right? Like that's fairly old, right? I'm not going to run any of my VR stuff on here. Let's go look for BioShock and see if we can get. So I've got the remastered one and I've got the original. You see how slow it is even when we're browsing? It's just not very quick. So let's try the remastered one, although it's probably not going to work very well. And we only have 4 gigs of memory. Oh, it's 20 gigs. Oh my goodness, it's going to take forever to download on this thing. All right, let's see. We have BioShock Infinite installed. So why don't we try that real quick? All right, so let's go ahead and agree to that and run it and see what happens. So I have that one installed on here already. I got to put some more games on this. So what's nice is that when you have an external drive like this, you don't need to have it all installed locally. Daniel was asking, do I see compatibility doing any better? No, in fact, it's gotten worse. And this is all beta, so that's part of it. But I seem to remember this compatibility on the dev channel being better than it was, because at this point, it is just terrible. And look, if you're running Microsoft Office all day long, and that's what you're doing with it, fine. Browsers, fine. Can't run Chrome, but you know what I mean? It's fine. Let's see what happens here. So yeah, Stacy, unfortunately, I did not see your super chat. It didn't show up on my end either, so I'm not sure what happened with that. If it went through, you should get a receipt in your email. So take a look and see if they did in fact charge you. But I definitely did not see it show up on my screen here. All right, so let's see what happens with BioShock. Yeah, and this one actually is running slower than the other one we looked at. So the HP that we had the brand new Snapdragon. This is the old Snapdragon. And I think, based on what I've been seeing benchmark-wise, this reminds me a lot of one of the first generation ARM Windows laptops that we looked at like 2 or 3 years ago. And remember, that one was like $800, and it ran as slow as this one did. So redacted, yeah. So this is like a thing that has been going on with Microsoft and Google. So Edge is based on Chromium, which is running ARM code, but you can't get ARM Chrome for these computers yet for some reason. And it's weird because they moved real quick to get ARM Chrome on the Mac. Prime, thank you very much for your super chat. Glad you love the channel, and I'm glad you're watching. Thanks for tuning in. And Mohammed says that, yes, so I spared you all. So here was like my thought process today. I spent the afternoon getting the dev channel up on this one because it was painful the last time we tried to install it on here. So I figured if I'm going to make you sit and watch like screens load, we may as well actually try to get stuff to run in that time as opposed to just trying to get the dev channel working. So I'm not even sure what I'm going to like actually review on this thing because it's like just the compatibility is just terrible. And it's even, this one's even hampered further by the fact that it doesn't have enough RAM to even try, right? So, and you can't even run Linux on it. I don't even know how I would get Linux to run on this thing, short of rooting it or whatever. So it's, Mork says, you might be right about this also, that the GPU may only be working in 32-bit games. We'll try Half-Life 2 next and see what happens. All right, didn't we just hit play here? Let's see what happens now. We're getting somewhere. We're getting the firewall question. I bought this thing, by the way, because I thought you all would be interested in it. And do I have the Minecraft Bedrock Edition? I don't think so. I'll have to look and see. Is that a special version of Minecraft? I do have Game Pass, so that I should have access to it, I think, right? All right, so now, oh, okay, something's happening here. Press any key. All right, I think we tried to get this working last time, didn't we? So let's go into options. And let's go to graphics. And we want to see now it thinks it's running full screen, but it isn't. All right, do you want to keep these? Yeah, so it looks like it can't switch down to 720p. Let's see. I'm surprised we got as far as we've gotten here. All right, so let's try it at 720p, even though it's going to be running in a corner here. All right, so I'm going to look for this Minecraft thing. If it's Game Pass compatible, we should be able to get it. And Stacy, what I would do is that if it's giving you trouble, I would just have your credit card company put a chargeback on that, and then it won't get billed. Angel's Army, thank you for the membership. Just saw you pop up on there. And Mark says that Minecraft bed. Okay, so let's check that out in a minute. I may have to log into my other account to get access to it, but we'll see. But at least we got something to work. I mean, obviously you got to run it in like a weird square here. And this is running at like 14 frames per second. So let me add that to my note here. So games. This one's running at about 15 to, yeah, about 15 to 16. To be honest, it's actually running better than I expected. Remember, this is running in emulation, so. And now it's up to 27. Let's see when we actually get into a more interactive part of the game here. I guess you can't skip. So we'll let that kind of play out. I'll give you some audio here. I'm not sure if I'm going to get dinged on the.
We've arrived.
And the audio like is working, so you know it's like it's. Yeah, so we are at about 15 to 20 is what I would probably. Yeah, it's running at about 23 right here. Yeah, now we're at about 29, 27. So I would say like 15 to 20, or maybe 20. So I'd say 20 to 25 is probably what we're getting here. Playable. But you know, this obviously will probably start impacting your battery more significantly, right? But it's certainly playable, more or less. If you consider 25 frames per second a playable experience, then there you go. It'll still be running in emulation, you know? I'll give them that. So I'm going to say 20 to 25. And then we'll try to track down this Minecraft thing, see what that's all about. That's updating my Google Doc here, so let me back out of this. Super chat from Just Vids. Do I remember the Galaxy Book 2? I don't. Was that a Windows laptop? I think I remember. I don't know if I reviewed one or not. I've looked at a couple of Samsungs over the years. I have a hard time getting loaners from them. Dante Davis is here. Hello. I'm missing a lot of chats here because I'm trying to get. I ran Geekbench earlier, so the Geekbench score on this one is 559 on the single core, 1,644 on the multi-core. That's on Geekbench, and that puts this one well about half of what we got on the 8CX from the Folio, and it's like not even in the same solar system as the M1. So it's this is a low performer. Like I said a little bit earlier, this one kind of performs like some of the earlier ones did. Which, if you're browsing the web and stuff, not bad, right? But it's not, you know. So here, we'll load up a web page real quick, and we'll take a look at that. So this is the Edge browser, and we'll just do a quick little visit over to NASA. You know, so yeah, you browse the web, it's fine. But it's going to be like where a low-end computer was about 6 or 7 years ago. So it's, you know, it is what it is. All right, so let's take a look at this Minecraft thing. So I may have to connect my other account to it. So Minecraft. So this is not the same one, right? It's a different Minecraft. Let's see. And you know, Minecraft runs great on a phone, right? So it's like Dungeons Starter Pack. I think I have one of these things. You know what's funny? They don't give you Minecraft with Game Pass. It's not showing Game Pass on there. Let's see here. There's Minecraft in the store, several editions, yeah. So I have it on my other account. Mohamed's asking, yes, we did a video on this actually. I ran it, so you can't boot up Windows natively on the M1 Mac, but you can load up Parallels and run it in virtualization. So we did do that a while back, and that worked much better than I thought it would, to be honest. All right, let's see. And I've been seeing all these notes about Windows 11. I haven't seen it yet, so I will take a look at it. I hope they don't do much. Every time they mess with the interface, people get very upset with them. Minecraft Bedrock. So let's see if I can find Minecraft Bedrock. I'm not finding it there. Let's do a search over here in Google. All right, so this is Minecraft Bedrock for Windows 10. Oh, you got to pay for that. I think this is like the same one that's in the store. So I have this. So we can, I just have to connect my other account, but I can totally do that. So let me just connect my Microsoft account here, and I can't sign in here with a personal account. Why not? So I got to sign out of this one and then switch. Ugh, pain in the ass. Let's see. So I'm not paying for Minecraft twice. I did buy Minecraft a while ago on my other account, not this one. But I might switch it over to my other account before. Let's see. Yeah. And the Java one should work also. Yeah, I don't have any doubt about this one running. I will try to get, for the review, I'll try to grab it for my other thing, because I guess I can switch my account on here maybe. So let me try to switch my account out here, and I will figure this out. So let's see if I can attach my other account to this. And now I'm signed out completely. Hang on a second. So what I do when I get these review units in is I always log in with my temporary account because I don't like to attach my personal Microsoft account to it. Bugrock, I see. Got it. All right, let's see if I can get my other account attached to this computer. So let me just go jump into here and see if I can switch it around. Yeah, it looks like I have to like completely set up a new account. I'm not going to pay $30 twice for Minecraft, so I do have it on my other account, so we'll grab that. Let's see what else we have on Steam here that we can put in here and just demo a little bit. Make sure like maybe like Half-Life 2 or something. That might work here. And then if there's any like 64-bit software that you want to see running on here, let me know. I can just grab that. You know, something other than a game. What I did do earlier is I downloaded, for example, a 64-bit version of CPU-Z. So if I click on, I can click on the 32-bit version, and this will load up. And I get this error, but then you just say yes, and then it'll work, I think. And that's the 32-bit one running in emulation. I'll give you the closer up screen here. So you don't get much information out of it. I mean, it does tell you that you've got a Samsung motherboard and stuff, and you've got, you know, the Qualcomm Adreno graphics. Now, what I can do, though, is load up the 64-bit version now, and this will run, too. We'll get the same error. Get this error. Now, if I hadn't installed the dev channel, this version would not run at all, because this is 64-bit Intel code. So there you go. Yeah, so I kind of torture myself by buying these computers because they never work right. You know, if you want to try to run the kind of stuff that I think a lot of general consumers would try to run. And yeah, I'll go, maybe we'll try the, I know a couple of you said to try the Java one, so I'll grab that one next and see how that runs. And let's take a look and see how this runs. Now, this is an older game, so this should be running in 32-bit mode. So this one will probably play pretty well. And it looks like it turned the resolution down to 720p, so we'll boost this back up to 1080. Flood of Sins is here. Hello. You know, and the challenge, what's funny is that the challenge I'm having with these Windows ARM computers is trying to come up with enough stuff to demo to actually fill up a video. That's really the challenge, because like you get into all these wacky configuration problems, you got to install the dev channel, like there's so much stuff that goes into just trying to do things simply, like just a simple task, you know? That's weird. It went down to 540p. That's pretty wild. Let's apply 1080. See what happens. Doesn't seem to be responding very well to that. There we go. Okay. So we're 1080p. And let's see, advanced. Let's see what we got here. So we got high. Okay, so this guy's one of the default settings. It looks like it's actually probably going to run. Okay, so we're going to hit OK. I'm going to load up one of my previously saved games here, because we always usually show this scene when we're doing a review. And we'll see how it does. I suspect it'll run it just fine. This is running pretty lousy. Actually, my mouse is not responding. It looks nice and sharp. Let's see. Now that my frames per second counter disappeared again, so let me see if I can force that up. And I can't plug my mouse in because I don't have any ports left on it. So, and I have barely any hard drive space to play with, so we're kind of stuck. Usually my little frames per second counter is up there. If I hit Shift Tab for the Steam one. All right, so I think what we can say at least is that it's playable. It looks pretty good. Let's hit the record button here. I just can't get the mouse to respond very well. You know, I would say, though, it's probably... Let me take another shot at this. I'm going to say here that it's... I don't think it's running quite at 30 frames per second. Oh, you know what? It went back down. Hang on a second. What is this thing doing? It reminds me of the last time he went to Chicago. I haven't been to Chicago in a while. I was there a number of years ago for a friend's wedding. I don't leave the house much. It's pretty helpful when you can actually just do all your work in your basement like I can. So, you know, We got enough there. It's not running it as well as like the low-end Gemini Lake computers we've tested recently at the same resolution. Let's just put it that way. And Corey says, next time, yeah, I would love to if I had a port free. I guess I could have plugged it into my dock. I probably should have done that. I was out of ports. Ran out of ports. And I'm hoping that this June 24th announcement has like more stuff related to ARM. But I think what we're dealing with here is just a lack of overall processor performance, right? That you know, like it's able to run the Windows software, you know, the Intel software, okay, but not well enough to actually do anything with. So let's grab Minecraft, because I do have a Minecraft account. So let's go to minecraft.net and grab the Java version. They must, like, it must drive them crazy that they still have to maintain this Java version. And this should be ARM native, right? Because it's going to run in Java. And I already paid for it because I bought this years ago. So how do I just download the darn thing? I guess I can log in. That's right. And now I got to remember what my password is. So bear with me on that. So let me go pull up my old document that I used to, hang on here, Minecraft. Here it is. Okay. All right, bear with me, folks. We're almost there. And we stopped running Minecraft on these laptops because it's a given that they all can run it now, right? And so here we are, back again. Oh, now it wants to know my, like it wants to know all my identity confirmation. I have no idea what half these questions are. I'm hoping I answered the same way before. At least one answer was not correct. I don't know which answer was correct. There it goes. Okay. All right, so we're good here. So let's download the game, Minecraft. All right, get Minecraft, computer, Java edition. All right, I'm gonna go download. Download. I don't want to download the Windows. Well, they really push you into like, or this. Okay, this is the Java one. Okay, there we go. I think so. This is like an MSI installer, so that should be the one, right? Let's open this up. And we'll go and do this. Tech Nerd's asking, this is not the 5G one. I think this one has a 4G radio. I think I gotta read the book again. I'm pretty sure it does. Mark says that Five Nights at Freddy's in the Windows Store is ARM. Okay, we'll check that one out. And Mark Dell cannot find. See, here's another like major disconnect, right? Like none of the Game Pass apps support ARM. All right, so let's close out of this. And we'll let this do its thing. Chris Allegretta is here. And he's got a very good point. Use the Bluetooth mice. I got to get a Bluetooth mouse. I have like the keyboard trackpad things that have Bluetooth, but not an actual Bluetooth mouse. Every one of my mice has a dongle or a cable. All right, so now I got to log back in once again. It's amazing any kids play Minecraft at all with all this password garbage. Okay, something went wrong and you encountered a bug. Really? Here's what I got on my screen here. All right, so let's go back to Minecraft Java Edition. Buy that one or play now. Something went wrong. Huh. All right, so let's jump out of here and go back in and see what happens. Halo Spartan Assault is ARM and ARM64. And here's the other, this is another problem that Mark brings up. And this is a problem that I raised years ago, is that there's nothing that you can't filter a list of software on the store that supports ARM. So like the way it either works with your computer and is available for download or it isn't, but you have to like dig into it to actually see if it supports it or not. All right, let's try this again. Play. All right, now I click the button. You all saw that. But I'm not sure if anything happened. There it goes. Try it again. Okay, so now it's downloading something. And let's see here. What's the battery life? So they're saying about 18 hours on this, which is, I think, probably doable. I got to do a little battery test on it tonight before I shoot the review tomorrow. But generally, the battery life on these things is great because you're not running anything. First of all, you're not running anything on it that's all that strenuous. But look at the size of the battery. That's the inside of it. So the battery is like 3/4 of the computer. So it's got a big, huge battery and a very efficient processor. So the battery life on these is really good. The HP we looked at also had a pretty big battery. All right, so we'll let it continue downloading. And then I got to spend half the night just trying to come up with enough stuff to demo on it, right? That's kind of the challenge. And you know what I think? I think I'm going to talk about this in my video because this is an example. So let's compare Microsoft to Apple. You know, Apple has control of the entire stack now. They've got every piece of the hardware and every inch of the software. Microsoft has got essentially 3 layers. So you've got the chip manufacturer, you got the computer manufacturer, then you got Microsoft making the operating system. And everyone has to have their goals aligned for things to work right. This is like the new Star Wars trilogy. I think that's the best way to describe it. Because you don't have like this consistent vision for what ARM is. And the Intel side is so entrenched that you can't have this thing not run Windows software. They tried that before, remember that? It didn't work well at all. And for some reason on my MacBook M1, it's crazy, but like this thing runs Intel software better than my Intel Macs do. It's ridiculous, I don't get it. So like what's the disconnect? But it's just all over the place. All right, so Mark is suggesting I look at Notion. So let's look for Notion. What is Notion, Mark? Because I have not heard of Notion before. Let's see, Notion app. The all-in-one workspace. Okay, Notion.so, is this it? And apparently there is a Windows ARM version. So Mac and Windows, let's see. Download for Windows. Is it going to load the store up or is it just going to be, okay. And our theory is that Minecraft should actually work better with the Java version because it's native ARM, the Java interpreter. Okay, so let's get this Minecraft thing going. We'll see what happens here. So it's still installing and downloading and doing all that stuff. And I will look at getting my other account attached to this thing, and we'll figure out, maybe get the Windows Minecraft working. So Mark says he lives in Notion. Notion is life. And it's a 64-bit Windows app, so that would run with this version. Now, did Minecraft just crash? I think it did. I think it did, because I didn't see Minecraft load up here. So you know how this would go over. Mom, I want to play Minecraft. They download Minecraft. What happens? No Minecraft. The game is already running in this game directory. Then where the heck is it? It says it's running already? Not that I can see. So it's running, but it never initialized the video, maybe? Let's take a look. Here, I'll show you the task manager. So here's the Minecraft launcher. So it's running, it's like running 100% CPU right now. So what is the OpenJDK platform binary? Oh, so maybe it's still trying to load the game up, because that's pegging the CPU. And it just disappeared. Okay, so let's try it again. So the Minecraft launcher appears to be an Intel binary. And then it loads the Java library, but that's what was holding us up here. All right, so I don't think it did that before. Maybe it did. Yeah. But here's what it comes down to. If I can't get it to work, there's no way somebody buying this computer is going to get it to work for their kid. Forget it. So I'll get my account switched over. We'll try the Windows 10 version before the review, because that one I think is, as been noted, is an ARM thing. But well, this is kind of a repeat of the last one we did, isn't it? Yeah, it just crashed. Let's just reboot this thing now, because I don't know what's running in the background and what isn't. So we're going to do a quick restart. And then, so you can see how quickly it boots up at least. And then I will try to figure out what the heck to do with this thing in the review. It might just be, don't buy it yet, because that's kind of where we're at with this thing. And it's not getting that warm. This is a fanless laptop, by the way, as most ARM machines are. It's not very warm at all. So that's good, at least from an efficiency standpoint. It's not going to overheat. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to it looks like it's running the 64-bit. Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's just too complicated for the average consumer to have to navigate. But I will try out that Windows 10 version, which is ARM native. So that might, I know that one will run better. And we know that Minecraft runs on ARM tablets. I got it running on my kids' iPads and everything else. So that shouldn't be a big issue. Let's try Notion real quick for Mark Dell, and then I'm going to head out in a minute, because I got to get the dog walked, dinner prepped. Thomas Anfang, thank you for the super chat. Let's see what Thomas has to say, everybody. Yeah, you'll pay more. So this is like when we were looking at that HP, which was a very nice computer. Like I love the design of it, but it felt hampered by the operating system and compatibility issues, and the overall processing performance of that Snapdragon not as good as M1. So if you don't mind a Mac, I think the MacBooks are great. The MacBook Air that I have doesn't have the battery life that these Windows ARM ones do, but these Windows ARM ones don't have the performance that the MacBook has, nor the compatibility. So it's just a mess. But I think Apple did it right, because when you buy the MacBook, everything works. And in many cases, as we discussed in my review, when you buy the M1 MacBook, the Intel software runs better on the MacBook than it did on the prior edition of the MacBook Air, for example. So, I think there are very few instances in which the M1 is going to be slower than the prior generation Intel hardware, unless you're getting into the real higher end, Mac Pro level stuff. So, yeah. All right, let me try. So it looks like Notion loads up here, Mark Dell. So that's good, right? I'm going to just set up an account here. We sent you a temporary sign-up code. You're going to get me hooked on something here, aren't you, Markdell, this Notion thing? I use Apple Notes for my note-taking. Okay, so now, and then it sent me just like 3 of these sign-up things all of a sudden. All right, so let's try this one. I'm just typing in a code here, everybody, so bear with me. That's the login code was incorrect. So it must be one of the 3 other ones it sent me. Let's try this one. But it does run. That's not working. I'll try it later. It did boot up. It just, my codes aren't working, so I will deal with that in a little while. Dennis P. Thomas, thank you for the follow on Amazon. In my opinion, which laptop is good for day trading when you are on the go and need to run quickly and efficiently? I would say, believe it or not, it depends what the budget is, but, these Mac M1s are great. They're fast, they work well. Like these ARM-based Windows laptops are just a nightmare. So I don't know what you're running software-wise, but, I would say that the Macs are good for anything remotely. I use my Mac for everything at this point, the M1 Air. But, on the Windows side, I like the Dell XPS 13 if you're looking for a fancier laptop. Any of the ThinkPads are good, right? So it's interesting. Yes, if you're on Windows, I would look at like the Dell XPS. If you want something small, like the XPS 13, the XPS 15 are nice. The ThinkPads from Lenovo are decent. Those are good business laptops, really solidly constructed and rugged. I think you probably would want something, if you're really on the go, something really, well suited for that. All right. Well, everybody, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with this thing. I don't know what to demo. I got to look. What I'm going to do? I'm going to go back and look at the video I did for the HP and try to figure out like how we compare that one to this one. I will say that at the outset that this one is not as fast as the HP, and that's not saying much. But the benchmark on this, the Geekbench, is probably about, on the multi-core test, about half of what the HP Folio was, performance-wise. So this puts this one, if we were to do like a comparative, this performance level is in the range of like the cheapo computers that we looked at 4 or 5 years ago. It's just not very quick, even running its own native software, let alone the emulated stuff. Dennis wants to know, do I know if any of the Prime products will be on Prime Day? I don't know what's going to be on Prime Day for electronics, but I would, if you can wait a week, I would take a look and see what shows up on Prime Day, because I don't have a list yet of what's on sale. And what's funny is that I think like Dell, Lenovo, and HP, they all sell computers through Amazon, but you don't get their full library. But the Dells, I think, you can get like the XPSs on Amazon if you're looking for Prime shipment. So those are the ones that I would look at. And then, like I said, the Lenovo ThinkPads, if you can get one at a good price on Amazon, that will be something to look at. Will I be streaming on Prime Day? Yes, as a matter of fact, I will be. Let me get the time. So I will be streaming. Let me look it up on my email here. I'm going to be like front page on the electronics section. Let's take a look and see exactly the time that I have been assigned here. So I will be on Prime Day on the 21st. So June 21st, I'll send out an email to everybody. June 21st at 3 p.m. And I'm going to get a bunch of stuff that we're going to kind of just play with live. And it's going to be a 2-hour stream from 3 to 5 p.m. on June 21st. So that is my slot, and I will be here streaming something. So be on the lookout for that. All right. Yeah, redacted is a good point. How am I going to sell this thing? Well, you know, it'll probably sit on my store for a while, and I'll just keep dropping the price until somebody buys it. It is cheaper to sell it on my store than it is to go on eBay or something like that. So we'll see what happens there. Dennis P. is wondering what time zone. Oh, we'll be, and Roger P. is here also. Hello, Roger P. We will be streaming at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, June 21st is the time in which I will be streaming. Let's make sure that's the case. Yeah, June 21st, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, which is, less than a week away. So I better get that stuff in and start getting my list together of things to review. Yeah, so I think what the big story with all of these Windows ARM computers is that you've got three entities with divergent interests trying to build a product together. And the Intel ones work because Intel, Microsoft, and computer manufacturers are generally on the same page along with their customers because they want their software to run. The Mac got away with it because Apple can just say, you know what, we're not supporting this anymore, goodbye. But they also control the whole stack. So Apple, as is noted here, who made this point, which was a good one? TechNerd made a point here that Apple is betting the farm on M1, and they control the stack. They control the hardware, they control the chips, and they control the operating system, and to a large degree, the software that you run on the computer. Like, I spend a good chunk of my day in Final Cut Pro. So I'm running Final Cut Pro, video editor, tuned for M1. It runs better on here than it does on my Intel MacBook, right? So it's been really intriguing. Roger P., did I test the computer? Yeah, we've been testing it around a little bit, but we did not get much to run on this one. I have to do a little bit more work on this tonight. Danny Rea wants to know, what config of the MacBook Air did I go for? So I bought the 16 gigabyte RAM version with the 8-core GPU. So I kind of decked out my Air, is the one that I got. And I've been very happy with it. I think I talk about it all the time, but I've been just really happy with it. It works exceptionally well, and it's really, really good stuff. Of course, yeah, they changed the pricing. All these things are going up higher here. So it's everything's getting expensive. Okay. And here's another question about the M1 on the iPad Pro. And I'm not crazy about the iPads as much because, like, here's what I want the iPad to do. When I dock the iPad, I talked about this. When I dock the iPad in that keyboard thing, I want it to become a Mac. That would be, I'd be all in on it if it did that. But it doesn't. So you've got all this processing power that's going unused. I have the iPad Pro 11 that I got like when it came out, the first one, which was what, like 3 years ago now, 2.5 years ago, and I have yet to find anything that actually takes full advantage of it. Now here's a question, because I don't know, how would I boot Ubuntu ARM on this? Can I just boot it up, or do I have to like overhaul and install it? I don't know how these ARM things work with Ubuntu. So if anyone has some insight on that, let me know. And Roop makes a point here that ARM is perfect for a notebook or a small device. It's perfect for office development and so on, but it'll take at least 5 or 10 years. Yeah, I think you're right. And you know what? They see, I think what it is that they tried with that, remember that Windows version, what was that, Windows RT or something, that was running on ARM, but you couldn't run any of the Intel software on it. And so nobody bought them. They just gave up on it. And then when they transitioned to these new, more powerful ARM chips, they did the emulation. The problem there was that you were spending, I don't know, $800, $1,200 on an ARM-based laptop, good battery life, poor performance. And now the performance is better, but the better performance ARM Windows 10 laptops cost a fortune. Like you're into like MacBook Pro territory or super high-end Dell XPS territory where you get much, much better performance, right? So it's a chicken and the egg problem. Surface RT, that's what it was called. That's right. That's right. And Rogers thinks that if they put Mac on iPad, will it kill their Mac line? I don't think it would, because I think people would still buy the Mac computers. I've always liked having a small computer, and that 12-inch MacBook that I used to use all the time, you know, it was a bit, I did have to give something up for the M1 Air. I got a lot of performance, but now I've got a much larger, much heavier computer. So I really like that quite a bit. But yeah, so, and to Danny's point here, the only advantage you've got of Windows 10 ARM is the battery life over the M1. But I'll tell you what, like, I don't think I've ever gotten a battery warning. Now, granted, I don't go anywhere, but I never got a battery warning on this computer yet. I mean, I've had it for as long as I've had it. So it's crazy. But yeah, Surface RT, mistakes were made. But you know, when the apps were optimized for RT, they actually ran okay on those computers, right? So that's that. And as Mark says, if I keep willing the 12-inch MacBook, it'll... I mean, if you think about it, the M1 would fit in it. So why not make it? They have to redo the keyboard. That's it. That's it. All right, everybody. Well, I am going to go take the dog out for her third walk so I can close my exercise ring here. And then I'm going to make some dinner, and then I've got to be on another call tonight. So yeah, it is what it is. You will all see a review of some kind. I think I'll shoot it in the morning. It might be more of an editorial than a review because look, it'll run Microsoft Word, it'll run a web browser, and you'll get good battery life. If you like that idea and it's worth $350 for you, then go for it. But I think if you're running any kind of software that's not designed for ARM, it's going to suffer. It's going to suffer. And all right, Mark, I'll check it out. I'm looking forward to seeing something about Notion. Nothing is too geeky for me, trust me. So we'll have to see what we do there. All right. Well, folks, thank you all for tuning in. Sorry, I was so scatterbrained today. I'm just trying to get something to work on this thing. We will have a review of this soon. And as Heffen says, it is basically, it is a Chromebook that runs Windows. It's exactly it. It looks like one, it feels like one, it just has a different operating system. And there could be some value there. I mean, geez, 18 hours of battery life, that's a good thing, provided it's running what you want it to run. So, yeah. Okay, let me go take my third walk. I've done 2 short walks today instead of like one long one and a couple of shorter ones, so I haven't closed my ring yet. But thank you all for tuning in. I'm glad everybody was able to pop in. And boy, do I like databases, Mark Dell. So yeah, hit me up. Speak some database to me, and we'll go from there. All right. Have a good afternoon, everybody. Enjoy your day. I'll probably be streaming again tomorrow. We'll see how far I get on my mini projects, because I did get those new. Oh, so this was what I got in. I got in the new 2.5 gigabit Go coax adapters. So we'll do some testing with those. Those are Mocha 2.5 devices that have a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet adapter on board. So you can get the full 2.5 out the Ethernet, because the last ones we looked at, they would do 2.5 over the coax network, but you can only spit one out at a time, right? So now you can do 2.5 out of a single port. And they sent me 2 of them. So there we go. All right. Do a bend test. Here's the bend test. It bends already. You don't even need to test it. So there you go. All right, I got to run. I will talk to you all very soon, and have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.